What's going on, everyone, and welcome to a video that's been in the works for quite a bit sometime. About 2 weeks ago, I sent out a survey that asked for different types of gameplay changes and different types of kind of like big topic things in the Town of Salem 2 community to discuss. And one of those was if you felt that the power level of the game needed to increase or decrease. And 67% said it should be decreased. It should be a weaker game. And so, we're going to see what that might look like. Some different role changes to follow that up. Now, a weaker game would make this game a lot better, but we'll get there in the meantime. So, here is kind of the rundown. There's a whole bunch of things I'm going to discuss and show. Unfortunately, I don't agree with a lot of it. I kind of like where the game's at now. There's some things that I would want changed, and we always talk about those things. But I kind of like where the power level is at the game. It's enjoyable. It has those superhero moments that a lot of people really don't like, but I really enjoy them. It makes recording enjoyable. It makes things memorable. I'm going to immediately claim that. There. And so, if I approve or I want a change that I'm going to suggest in this video, it's going to be in yellow. If it's in white, that is just me, for the purposes of this video, this is what I'm saying. But if I actually think it'd be good for the game, it will be in yellow. So, let's go over it, nice and slow, nothing too crazy. Feel free to take to the comments and tear me apart, because this is just for talking. There's nothing serious about this. There's some that I am more strongly about, and I'll probably get into those. But just for the purposes of what would a weaker Town of Salem 2 look like, let's launch right into it. Alright. So, for gameplay changes, like straight up does not affect a roll. Generalizing attacker information, which was very, it was very agreed upon. It was like a 66% of people wanted generalized attacker information. I'm noticing that it's a little hard for y'all to see, so I wonder if I can make it better. Oh, nice. Okay. Look at that. I kind of know what I'm doing. Not really, but... Sure. Alright. Generalizing attacker information, so serial killer goes to attack you, you get saved by a barrier, it'll just say you were attacked, but saved by a barrier rather than the serial killer tried to attack you. Again, 66% of people wanted that. This is something that I did not put, but I think should be in the game, is a dynamic timer. There's less time on the clock based on the number of players left alive. It's something in Better TOS 2. It's something that Curtis spent, I remember sitting in a call with him for wee hours of the night with him working on the dynamic timer. That's something I think should be in the base game. Auto-confirmativity. Only the mayor will auto-confirm. And we'll explain the drawbacks and what for not that later. And then just like Better TOS 2, I think Necronomicon passing should be implemented. It fixes a lot of problems with Coven. It just straight up fixes a lot of problems with the Coven. Alright, let's talk about some roles. So, Town Power in general. Major nerf. A lot of these, if it's red area, obviously is nerf. Orange is kind of both, and green is a buff. There are some buffs in this because I feel like to hurt some other roles, you need to strengthen some others. So, town power, only one town power can spawn in a game. Unless, like, the specific role list states, you know, custom games, Better 2S2, that there's multiple town powers in it. Marshall has a lot. A lot of these first at the beginning have a lot. So, Marshall, stop Tribunal once a townie gets lynched. Stops Tribunal once Marshall dies, ending the voting phase. This is one that I think should actually be in the game. But it's the only one on this list so far. Does not reveal who you are, like if you do a Tribunal. Does not reveal how you are. However, you will not be able to have defense. So what Mayor has that a lot of people hate is what I would give for Marshal, and you'll see it come up for Prosecutor and Deputy as well. And then Marshal does not get any extra voting power, so a major nerf to Marshal. Do I support it all? No, I only support, you know, when Marshal dies, it ends the voting phase. But in a weaker town of Salem, this is what I'm throwing out. Prosecutor can only prosecute once a day. Does not reveal who you are. However, you will not have defense once you prosecute. Able to have defense. And then you cannot talk while your guilty player is on the stand. Maybe it can says like prosecutor, like how jailer just says jailer. I could see that being an alternate to that. But either way. Jailer. This is taken from Toast's rework of Jailer. I could not, for the life of me, decide how I would want a Jailer nerf to go. Because in my opinion, Jailer should be the... Jailer should be the most strongest role. So, this is to nerf Jailer. You must decide if you're going to jail or execute your target the day before. So, like, if I was Jailer, I wanted to jail 4. I need to decide if I'm jailing them or if I'm Xing them. So you have to know ahead of time if you want to X them. That really changes how to play Jailer. Maybe for the better, maybe for the worst. You only get 2 executes. That's taken straight from Toast. Adapted from Toast is the first one. Next. Deputy is now town power. Bullet is only a basic attack. That is straight a major nerf anyway. But there's more. Does not reveal who you are. However, you will not be able to have defense once you shoot. This one is one that I would want to add. There we go. Bodyguard can block deputy shot. And Trapper can block an attack and kill the deputy. So you'll see that when we get to Bodyguard and Trapper. It allows for more of those superhero moments, strengthening 2 roles that I think need to be strengthened and weakening 2 roles that I think deserve nerfs. And one of those is my favorite. Psychic. Good wills on odd number nights, evil wills on even number nights. That's exactly what Better 2S2 has. I think that's exactly what the game should have. This I don't agree with, but you know, in the world of trying to nerf all the roles, you select your target. So if I'm psychic, I select 4. It checks 3 and 5. If no one is around them, I'll say not enough townies were around to check, or not enough players were around to check. If there are 2 players being checked for an evil will, and one of those 2 die, it'll say not enough players were around to check. Seer. Better TOS 2 Seer. If one of the 2 targets dies that night, it'll state you cannot figure out your target's true intentions. And Raccoon was the person who reworded that to make that seem better. For Lookout, same as better TOS 2. If more than 3 people visit your target, it'll state too many people visited your target to get accurate information. That's from TOS 1. Makes sense. Alright, how about some more? Tracker cannot track the same person twice. And here's 3 buffs that I agree with all hard-heartedly. Wow. Sheriff can find the following roles suspicious: transformed to Pock, serial killers unless they're cautious, and werewolves on full moons. I think it makes a little more sense because I don't know how many people's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Shouldn't the serial killer be suspicious? Not in TOS 2. In TOS 1, yes. Spy. Bugs stay on the target until the target dies. Like, permanently. Trapper. Traps go off and attack Deputy and Conjure during the day. Now you can see the second role. Bodyguard. Bodyguard can protect target during the day. They will take the meteor for their target from Conjure and block the Deputy's bullet. So again, you can make a whole... you can make a whole, like, scene where, like, oh, here comes the deputy pulling out their gun at someone, and the bodyguard's gonna jump in front and block the shot. You know, those superhero moments. Oh, that's really cool. Whatnot. Vigilante only has 2 bullets. Admirer does not reveal to the admirer the role of the lover, but now the admirer will not go in a toxic relationship. So you can just heal an evil, technically. Technically, you could say it's a nerf. But not getting into a toxic relationship seems to be really good. That's a lot of people dead. That is the entire coven dead. Alright. And Trickster. I have a whole video on a Trickster rework. Check that out. It's also going to be reworked, and the 1.3 version will come out here pretty soon. Alright. A lot of these are blue. Retributionists can only use non-town investigative roles once. Socialite. You cannot talk during the party. You are the host. You are hosting, after all. You will be too tired to talk or vote the next day after a party. And the one that I actually think would be good for the game is you must wait an additional day after your first party to throw another. So you can't just do boom night 2, boom night 3. You need to boom night 2, then boom night 4. Coven Leader. When without the book, Coven Leader can visit Coven to power up their offenses or grant them defenses. Hexmaster is not astral at all, ever. Witch. Will not know the role of the target they are witching. Will not learn any information from their target's ability. And then the Trickster changes. This is a big nerf to Witch, which I am a huge proponent of. Conjure is blockable in the day by Bodyguard and Trapper. Yes, it hurts Conjure. But it sounds really cool and really fun, so I have to include it. Ritualist has 2 charges. Ridding the revealed mare or an admirer that is proposed to you does not take up a charge. So you notice everyone else will know that you are admired. The admirer will not know. Cannot target neutrals until all of town is dead. That one's a big one. That one's a pretty big hit to Ritualist, but it also helps neutrals quite a bit, which seems what the community wants. And then Jinx cannot be seen by others when having the book. Few more. Oop, get back here. There we go. Dreamweaver. Rather than a message of you were dreamweaved, will be a general message like you were roadblocked, you were attacked and healed. Things like that. It doesn't actually like roadblock you. Kind of like how Hypnotist worked. You will then learn that night that you were dreamweaved, and if you aren't visited, you will go insane. Makes Socialist a little better. And then Insanity perma roadblocks everyone but Vigilante. Vigilante will always try to shoot a non-Coven. That comes from one of the other videos I've done. Potion Master. Can heal anyone, not just Coven. Cannot use the same potion twice in a row without the Necronomicon. Necromancer can use Town of Festive Scrolls multiple times, so that puts it right on line with Retributionist. Voodoo Master can choose whether the target is silenced or deafened, so we added Banshee to the game, while taking away Voodoo Master's real strength, which was whether the target does not affect voting. We'll continue going here. We're on some neutrals. I don't know why it's freaking out like it is graphic-wise. It is what it is. You're just here to read. Jester. I love Jester in TOS 2. It's so easy to win. So easy to win. Let's fix it. Is not found by Seer to be enemies with Town. Is not found suspicious by Seraph. Is not found evil and Psychic. Unsuccessful protections with the vest does not use up your charge. Makes sense. Pirate. Better 2S2 version of Pirate. After 3 failures, you can eliminate one of your target's options. I can find that really funny with the talking, where it's just like, yeah, I'm taking away Sidestep. Now it's a 50-50. Now it makes Pirate a little more interesting and funny, in a way. Doomsayer. Doomsayer only kills your first option, not all 3, and Coven is split into their Coven alignments. A big nerf to Doomsayer. Again, I'm not a huge fan of it. That's why it's not yellow. Werewolf. You know who visits your scented targets, like how Wildling shows both. Shroud. You know the role of the person who you shroud. It doesn't like permanently show, but it'll say, you know, you shrouded the bodyguard. They visited so-and-so and attacked them. Serial killer is a lot. Can avoid many things with being cautious. Being seen by suspicious by Sheriff, being seen as enemies by Seer, being seen as enemies by Psychic, being seen with blood by Investigator, being seen by Lookout but not Wildling, attacking Trickster if being redirected. You cannot be cautious in Rampage. So like the general gist of it is I want cautious to be more than just you can now suddenly be roadblocked. Because, yeah. Soul Collector's the BTOS2 version, where it frames the person they're soul collecting as Soul Collector, and then there's 2 more. Plague Bearer is the same as Better 2S2, and then Baker, if your target dies with bread, you get that bread back and can place multiple on one night. Yes, you can be tracked. Yes, you can be tracked. Is what it is. Welcome to placing a lot of bread. So, that is a weaker Town of Salem 2. Let's undarken this. There we go. That is a weaker Town of Salem 2. You could call it like Town of Salem 1.9. If you thought any of that was good for the game, let me know in the comments below. If you hated some of that stuff as much as I did, let me know as well. That is all for me. A lot of things will slowly roll out. I'm working on things as it comes. So, that is all. We'll catch you again for another video.